Hi, everyone. I'm Shannon Landwehr, President and CEO of the Penn Bay Regional Chamber of Commerce, and I'm spending a few minutes with each of the candidates who are running for a 3-year term on our board of directors that begins in 2025. We're recording these interviews so that our members can get to know the candidates during the election period. Annually, you, our members, have the opportunity to elect other members to serve on the chamber board. Additionally, our existing board then appoints candidates to the remaining seats. The first phase of the process is the member vote, which runs this year from November 1 through November 15th. And as a reminder, each business or nonprofit member gets just one ballot vote. So I'm pleased to be joined today by board candidate Nicole Larrabee with Superior Restoration Services in Camden. Nicole, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So in the interest of having our members get to know you a little bit, can you share some personal information with us?
Sure. I am actually from Orrington. Most people have not heard of it, but it is a very small town outside of Bangor. I grew up in the Bangor region, went to school at Springfield College for athletic training, which I did for exactly 2 years before I realized I couldn't deal with stinky feet. Um, have had a variety of different experiences that I'm excited to share. I'm married. I've got three stepchildren, two of which live with me part of the time. Three canines and one mean cat, and we live in Cushing.
Believe you said ill-spirited. Was that
Yes, correct. Yes.
So you are owner of Superior Restoration Services. So tell us a little bit about your current work.
So in the height of the pandemic, I thought it would be a good idea to sell our house in Rockland and buy a fixer-upper in Cushing, which is where we're living now. And if that stress wasn't added, that wasn't enough, we decided to buy a business at the end of 2020. So we closed on Superior Restoration in March of 2021. So we're coming up on 4 years already, which is crazy. And we're a disaster remediation, heavy duty cleaning company. We can clean pretty much anything that needs cleaning. And I always say, I hope people never need to call us, but if you do, we're here for that reason.
So since that's still relatively new, can you share a little bit about your previous work experience? And then I'm sure embedded in all of that is a particular accomplishment that you are proud of.
So it's funny because people have said, oh, well, did you work for Dave? Or, oh, you must have been in this industry prior to buying a business. And I thought, well, no, of course not.
Why?
Why would that be? So I've had kind of a wide variety of a career. Most recently, I was with Camden National. I was in their treasury management and government banking division. So I was on the commercial side, traveled all over Maine, getting to know and work with small, large businesses, municipalities, school districts. Prior to that, I was with the city of Brewer in economic development. So working with all kinds of businesses in Brewer. We worked with our legislators. That was really interesting because we worked to retain, obviously, the businesses that had made their home in Brewer, but also to um, attract and expand what we had for current businesses. Um, I went to University of Maine, the business school I graduated in 2011 with my master's in business. And I would say that was probably one of my biggest accomplishments, second to staying married in between the time that we chose to renovate a house and buy a business the same year. That was I was very proud of that. It was certainly not easy by any means, but after I graduated, I was kind of a non-traditional. I was later in my years for the MBA, but I was tagged to teach up at the business school to incoming freshmen. Taught intro to business, and I taught principles of management. Taught an entrepreneurship class at Husson University. So so it's really kind of an eclectic blend of, and I was mentioning earlier, usually doing all of this. If I was ever in transition, I always waited tables because that is truly a life skill that you can do anywhere. So
That's great. That's great. So, how are you involved in the community, maybe in other ways, through other boards or volunteer roles?
So I think so I moved down to this area in 2017. So I haven't been here a ton of time, but one of the first things that I was able to do was do the Mid-Coast Leadership Academy, which was awesome. It was a great way to get to know people in the community, but also the businesses between Waldo and Knox County. So that was really great. Um, I joined the board of Finding Our Voices, which is a nonprofit based here in Camden, focused on highlighting and hopefully eradicating domestic violence, domestic abuse, and relationship abuse. So I'm the treasurer of that organization. I've been with them since the end of 2020, so coming up on 4 years with them. Um, I'm the vice chair of Rock Coast Entrepreneurs networking group based in Rockland. I've joined the recently, not hasn't been too long, the Maine Women's Network, which I've enjoyed, and I'm also a part of the advisory board for the Maine Business School. So I try to do as much as possible because I that's just the type of person I am, but and try to run a business at the same time. So
Well, that is a lot, and those are really valuable organizations to the region. So, in that
yeah,
frame, why do you believe the chamber is important for our area?
I think I think the chamber is a huge asset to this community. I think it's indicative of a strong business community with a strong chamber. Um, I Businesses need an advocate and they need somebody kind of in their corner. And I've realized that no clearer than since taking over a business. And I remember when I was with Brewer, and even with Camden National reaching out to business owners, I was like, why is nobody calling me back? And then I got into the role and I'm like, I know exactly why they weren't calling you back because it wasn't on fire and they didn't need you right then and there. And so the chamber was often that group that it could disseminate all of the noise and just say, okay, business owners, this is what you need to know. This is what we're doing. For events, like just tell me where to be and what to read. And because sometimes that's what I have time for. And I think that the chamber can be a really valuable help in that for business owners.
So, what, given your experience or maybe even interest, what do you think you bring to the organization as a board member?
I think I have a very diverse background. And so some would say, well, she doesn't really know what she wants to be when she grows up, which is probably a lot true, partly true too. But I've worked on the municipal side. I've worked in development. I've worked in you know sales. I grew up in a small business family. Um, so I've always been involved in business in some area. So I think I am able to pull from a variety of different experiences and backgrounds to help strengthen, what we have in place, and if there are places that we can improve upon in terms um, of what the chamber can offer or bring to the community, I think I can definitely be an asset there. Um, I represent I represent the service sector. So I think in terms of in tourism and what we have here, it's super important. I mean, um, you can see that just driving anywhere in the mid-coast area in the summertime. We have a really thriving tourist and economy, but I also think that the service sector is very, very important as well, and needs to be represented just as strongly.
Thank you. So, in these final few moments here, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our members or to have them know about you?
Oh, geez. Um, that's a great question. I think like I said, I think I do bring a different perspective. I enjoy being parts of groups like these. I take my job very seriously. I don't take myself very seriously, which is always good, especially when you're working in the type of business that I'm working in. Um, I think we have some opportunities to expand what the chamber could do. I was very thankful. I sat on the board of the chamber in the Bangor region. So, I think it always, not to say that we have to be like everybody else, but I think just all of that brings in a different, unique perspective. I have absolutely loved being in this community for the last 7 years, which is again crazy that it's been that fast. But this is my home, this is my business, so I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to make our community as strong and great as it is.
Well, thank you very much for
Yes.
sharing and for being with me today, and certainly for your interest in joining the board of directors.
Thank you for having me very much.
Thanks, Nicole. Bye-bye.
Bye.